What is up, guys? It is KikiZilla101 here yet again, and welcome back to Kiki and Coffee, the show where we casually talk about stuff and put in as minimal effort as possible while we drink coffee. So grab your coffee, tea, or other preferred beverage, and let's get straight into the video. That is hot but good. Oof. Let me mix that up real quick. Alright, so today we're finally going to get around to my top 10 wish list for Safari Ltd 2020. I've been needing to do this for like forever. It's very late. I've been requested so many times to do it, and Torvo Faganax has been on me about it quite a few times, and he just asked me last night actually with the Prestasuchus review when that went up. Yeah, I'm finally going to do it. I'm sorry it took forever, but I did need to make the list, and it was just a lot of other crap got in the way, and then there was a couple times I just forgot about doing it. So, yeah, but we're finally doing it now. We have our top 10 here, and this is just going to be for Safari. If you guys really like this video, if it gets a lot of likes on it and a lot of support, then I might go ahead and do my top 10 wish list for like Collecta or something like that. But really, I'm not too sure I'll do any other ones because Safari is really the only company I really care about, and I really do want to make predictions for them. They are my favorite company, so. But if you guys do want me to make predictions for other ones, I will if the video gets a lot of support. Okay, quick little disclaimer. This is all my opinion. This is just my wish list, my personal wish list. This is not confirming any new figures. This isn't confirming what the community wants most. This is just my personal feelings of what I want most from Safari 2020 or just in the future of Safari. But feel free to let me know in the comment section below what your most wanted figures are. And I'm not going to bring out any figures today, so no figures that will be representing things. We're just going to use a couple pictures, so use your imagination. So number 10 would be Proterosuchus. I would love if Safari would make this animal. I mean, it definitely was in my last wish list for 2018. I just think it's such a unique and interesting Permian. I think it's actually early Triassic animal, isn't it? But it's a really awesome prehistoric reptile with that hooked jaw. You guys probably know it from Walking with Monsters. I just think it's a really awesome animal, and I think that Safari would really do a good job with a figure like that. So I would love to see them make a Proterosuchus. Number 9 is Chasmosaurus. Safari continues to make like ceratopsians and sauropods like every year, and I would love for them to continue that trend. There's so many of those animals that you could really show off and have some great figures of, and I think Chasmosaurus has to be the next one. I really, really want us to do Chasmosaurus. I mean, something like a Torosaurus would be really cool too. I would love to see a Torosaurus, but Chasmosaurus is one of those animals that just doesn't get represented like very often at all in figure form. And I think it would be really cool to see that very unique frill shape in a very well done Safari Ltd ceratopsian. I think that would be really cool. Moving on to number 8, we have Torvosaurus. Torvosaurus is one of my favorite dinosaurs of all time. It's such a cool megalosaurid. We don't have any megalosaurids from Safari at the moment, like at least any new ones, and I don't think they've made any old ones either, but correct me if I'm wrong. But Torvosaurus would be awesome. It'd go with their Morrison Formation collection already that's so good. They have their Camarasaurus, they have their Stegosaurus, they have their Allosaurus, which are all in scale with each other. Unfortunately, the Diplodocus is kind of... we're not going to talk about that one. It doesn't fit. But it would be awesome to have a 1/40th scale, or 1/35th, more or less, scale, a Torvosaurus that would go with the rest of the Morrison Formation. I think that would be so cool. Torvosaurus is just an awesome animal, and I just really love to see that. Number 7 is Basilosaurus. I love Basilosaurus. It's probably my favorite Cenozoic creature of all time. It's kind of skips back and forth between the second place. At certain moments I feel more towards the other than the other, but I'm pretty confident that most of the time Basilosaurus is my favorite Cenozoic creature of all time. And I think that Safari would do a great job. We need more Cenozoic stuff from them. They did some great stuff in 2018, and I think that they would nail a Basilosaurus. And yeah, Collecta made a Basilosaurus, but to be honest, I'm not really happy with that one. It just looks really odd, like the head looks really odd. I do like the idea of the barnacles and stuff on it, but I think that you could really do a little bit more with the color scheme and stuff like that, and I think Safari would definitely be the one to do that. They would really get a Basilosaurus down. So I'd really love to see Safari make a Basilosaurus. I think that'd be the coolest thing ever. Number 6 is that one figure that I don't think Safari's ever going to make, but I would still just die if they did, and that would be a 1/40th scale Argentinosaurus. Oh my lord, I would just love to see a huge Argentinosaurus figure, like Carnegie days of Safari, when they just made those giant sauropods. I would just love to see Safari use their even if it wasn't super detailed, even if it was just like the Camarasaurus from 2018. That figure has so much charm. If you just did some detail like that, and just had this massive sculpt of a giant Argentinosaurus that could go with our Giganotosaurus figures and our other giant Carcharodontosaurs, that'd be the coolest thing ever. I mean, oh my gosh, I would buy it in a heartbeat. I mean, you could even do like a limited edition version if Safari's really afraid of like having that too big a figure and making too many of it. Just please, oh my gosh, please make us a 1/40th scale Argentinosaurus. That'd be the coolest thing ever. I just know they're not going to do it. I just know they're never going to do it, but I would really love if they would. It would be so awesome. That would be really cool. Please let me know in the comment section below if you'd also like to see an Argentinosaurus 1/40th scale. That would be so awesome. Number 5 is, now we're getting into those, the Carnegie remakes, because Safari has been remaking a lot of their old Carnegie figures, or species that they did with the Carnegie stuff. Sitapati was kind of like a redo of Oviraptor, but it's like a slight genus change, which is cool, but it's basically like a Carnegie remake. And so I would love to see Maiasaura. If you guys haven't seen my top 10 favorite Carnegie figures that I own, it'll be in the top right corner right now, so go check that out. In that list is the Maiasaura. I'm not going to tell you what position it is if you haven't seen it yet, but I love the Carnegie Maiasaura. It is such a great figure, and I'd really love to see Safari do a modern, updated take on my favorite Hadrosaur and do a little nest set with it. That would be the coolest thing. Please, Safari, do another Maiasaura. That would be so awesome. And we need more Hadrosaurs. Number 4 is going to be Deinosuchus, yet another Carnegie remake. Deinosuchus is an awesome animal. The figure that we have of the Carnegie one is like the only good Deinosuchus out there right now, and we need a new, updated, just really highly detailed Deinosuchus model. They do great with the crocodilian scales on their crocodilians, and they do great with them on their Saurosuchians, like the Prestosuchus, which was just reviewed on the channel in the top right corner right now. So I think Deinosuchus would just be a awesome figure from Safari, and that would be a pretty big animal too, so we'd probably get a fairly big figure. Alright, so number 3 is none other than Utahraptor. This is not a Carnegie remake, because actually they never made a Utahraptor in the Carnegie line, but they did have an old Safari Utahraptor, and Utahraptor is such a classic and iconic, enormous Dromaeosaur. And yet we barely have any figures of it. It's quite abused in figure form, and so I think Utahraptor really needs to be made. And I think a fully feathered, beautifully colored figure from Safari would just be awesome. I would really love to see them make a Utahraptor. That would just be awesome. Number 2, our second place spot, is going to be another Cenozoic creature, Megaloceros. This is the only animal from the Cenozoic period that puts Basilosaurus in check. I love elk. Elk are my favorite modern day animal. I think they're beautiful animals, and this is the Irish elk, even though it technically isn't really related to elk. It's more related to either fallow deer or what's the other one? It's I don't remember what the other one is, but it's not related. It's not closely related to elk. But it is a beautiful deer with this enormous rack. I mean, you guys definitely have seen it from Walking with Beasts and stuff. It has this giant moose-like rack. It's such an iconic Cenozoic creature, and I think it'd be a perfect animal to include in their Cenozoic range, because they don't really have any deer-like animals yet. Macrauchenia is somewhat similar, but Macrauchenia is very unique and obscure. Megaloceros would be really awesome. I'd really love to see that figure. Alright, so now that we've gotten through all those, let's go into our honorable mentions before getting to our first place. First off, with the honorable mentions, I'm going to have Phorosrhacos. I think it'd be really cool for them to make a Terror Bird figure, and they should be doing the Terror Bird. Phorosrhacos doesn't get much love as it is. We get tons of love for things like Titanus and Kelenkin, but Phorosrhacos would be really cool. We also have Dilophosaurus. We really need an updated Dilophosaurus. There's not really a really good, accurate figure on the market right now. I mean, even Papo's Dilophosaurus is more accurate than Safari's old one, so when you have something like that going on, you know it needs an update. Brillo Pelta would be so cool. I love Brillo Pelta. The Ankylosaur is just beautiful. Great colors that we can have on that figure, and it would also have some great detail if it's anything like the Ankylosaurus figure. Dire Wolf would be awesome. Dire Wolves would be great because that's a figure that a lot of people have really wanted for a long time, even though I do see why they're not really made very much because, let's be honest, you guys can imagine them however you want, but Dire Wolves really didn't look very different from Grey Wolves, and it's going to basically just be a Grey Wolf figure. Dire Wolves were just a little bit bigger and very slightly different proportions and stuff. They didn't really look like a big, mean wolf. So I think the Safari may be able to do something creative with Dire Wolves, but I do understand why they haven't been making them, because it's just really not anything different from a Grey Wolf. But the final one is, this is actually, my final honorable mention is more of a prediction. I just have a really strong feeling they're going to remake this Carnegie figure, and that is the Baryonyx. I don't know why, but I just, in my gut, I really feel like they're going to make a Baryonyx next year, or for 2020, and I would totally approve. I think that'd be really awesome. But we'll see. Maybe I'll be wrong, but I really have this feeling in my gut that they're going to make a Baryonyx for some reason. I don't know why, how to explain it, but I just feel like they're gonna make a Baryonyx next year. That's all I can say. Anyways, moving on to our number one spot. Number one, last year we had a little campaign here on the channel where we were rooting for an Allosaurus to be made. We got it. Of course, I don't think we actually had an effect on that because these figures are made like 2 years ahead of time. We just got lucky. But, oh, I really, really want Safari to make an Albertosaurus. An Albertosaurus would be so cool. Albertosaurus is such a classic dinosaur. It's a very popular dinosaur. A lot of people know its name, and yet it is really abused in figure form. It's really got barely anything going for it in figure form. It's got the old Carnegie one, but can you really call that an Albertosaurus? Just a updated, beautifully sculpted Albertosaurus from Safari would be awesome. Imagine it with like a big, long stride, like the a Carnotaurus almost, but like has a really long stride, like it's in a running pose, and just really nice, lean, thin animal. I mean, that would just be a really cool figure to have, a charging Albertosaurus. I would melt. I think that'd be such an awesome figure. So yeah, that is my top 10 most wanted figures for Safari 2020, and past. I'm sure we won't get all these figures, or even some of them at all, from Safari 2020 or on. But I really would love to see a lot of these figures just be made by Safari, period. But it would be really cool if we could get them next year. As you guys know, I am in contact with Safari, so I'm going to try to send them this video, my wish list, to them just to see if hopefully that they'll watch it. If they do, please leave some comments in the comment section below and let them know what your most wanted figures are, so hopefully your word can be heard. As we all know, Safari is an amazing company, and they really do listen to their fans, so you need to make sure that you're speaking your opinion and what figures you guys would love to see them make, because they just might do it. Now that's pretty much going to be it for this video, but I do want to quickly remind you guys that I do have my own coupon code that you guys can be using on any Safari products that you want to buy. So if you're interested in buying any Safari Ltd product, make sure to head www.safariltd.com and use the promo code KikiandCoffee1 with the capital K, A, and C, and you'll get 20% off your next purchase. Or you can just use the link provided in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry yet again that this video is late, but please make sure to let me know in the comment section below what your most wanted figures are for Safari 2020 or even on into the future. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.